right, so we told you before our whole AM for this morning is themed water, 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 water. So it's still World Water Day. We're celebrating it. We'll tell you what to expect in terms of the celebration itself. Remember the theme, the global theme is water and sustainable development. So joining me now is Amakudom Ajiman. She's planning committee member, World Water Day celebration. Good morning, Amma. Thank you for your time.
Good morning.
So what is going to happen in Ghana? And I think I've been wanting to ask this for a really, really long time. I don't have water. Why should I be celebrating this day?
That's the more reason why you should be celebrating it, because, you know, at times we think that water, we don't actually place the kind of value that water should have. We just think that, well, you get up in the morning, if you get a cup of water to brush your teeth, to wash, and then that kind of thing, then you are done with. But somehow we realize that the fact that you do not have water is crippling you in a way. And that is what we want to draw people's attention to. That without water, in fact,
we're nothing.
No life, nothing. You couldn't be smiling, you know. Yeah. So we want people to begin thinking of water in those terms, so that when you get up in the morning and you open your tap and you have water flowing, then you should be very grateful and thankful. So you're not late for work. The children do not have to go searching for water. The women do not have to walk for miles. You do not have to drink contaminated water, which will make you sick, and a whole lot of things. We want people to be aware of this. Vital for our own survival and for our development. Okay,
so with that said, tell us what's going to happen, because the day itself is on Sunday.
The day itself is on Sunday, and what we're doing now is part of the activities. You know, doing radio talk shows, TV talk shows, interacting with people. We expect that even at the community level, the district assembly members who should be in the know that this thing is going on should also be talking to their people and doing other things. Now, we usually have a climax activity. At times we do have a deba, at times we have schools program, but this year, because of the day, we're having a symposium on Monday at the trade fair site, time 9 a.m. So we're going to have a series of presentations on topics relating to the theme. So we're going to have, for instance, water and health status in Ghana. We're going to have another one looking at the domestic water issues, which I'm sure has been spoken about this morning already. And then we're going to look at ecological, because we, as an agrarian country, we depend a lot on agriculture. And agriculture uses a lot of water. Even though that kind of agriculture we're doing in this country is not mechanized per se, we still depend on water. And the way our farmers use water tells how the production will go. Now, for instance, we have a situation where people are farming in riverbeds. That is during the dry season. Now, when you do that, you are actually tampering with the flow of water. That should flow to other places for other people to use, because the water comes from a source, it gets to your point, and then you divert it because you think that that is where the land is fertile for you to do whatever you want to do. Meanwhile, the water must flow downstream for another community to depend on it. So we want people to become aware of this, that once you do something to that flow of water at your point, it is going to affect the livelihood of some people. It is going to affect our food security. It's going to affect our industry, energy. It's a complex thing, but yet it's not that complex, I think.
So I get the feeling that what you're seeking to change is lifestyle.
Yes. Lifestyle, yes. Lifestyle, because now we have the issue of galamsey. Why is galamsey becoming so prominent? Let me use the word prominent in this country. Because people want money. And Ghanaians have reached a point where we think money is everything. So because of money, you are destroying the very water that gives you life. The water that ensures that your produce survives and, you know, bears fruit, you are able to sell, you are able to use some. but the cash that comes into your hand is now more valuable to you. So you don't mind whatever happens to that resource. So these days, unlike formerly when you're traveling to Kumasi, there are some rivers along the way. They used to be clean. But I was shocked because I thought this is just happening in Western region and certain portions of the Eastern region. But now when you are driving up, you realize that the water has now, not just contaminated, but the color has changed. It's reddish brown. It didn't used to be like that.
So can this change, I mean, after this whole sensitization process, and how long would it even take? Because now it's become part of us.
Yeah. Can it change? It's a kind of yes and no. Yes, if we realize that one day you get up and suddenly you don't have water where you used to have water before. Maybe you will reflect. And we pray and hope that it will not be too late by then. Because if you used to have water previously, and then because of your own actions, you wake up one day and the water there is not fit for consumption, and you have to travel miles before you get water.
Which people are doing already.
People are doing already. Maybe it will set you thinking. But the difficulty about this change that in lifestyle that we are advocating is that people like the Galamsey operators, they don't even come from the community. They come from elsewhere. They collect their monies. And because they can buy, you know, money is power. You can buy anything, but they forget that it gets to a point you will have money in your hand and you will not, because whatever you are looking for to buy is not there. So what will the money do for you at that point? And then you also realize that you get up and for this, unless of course you are one of those, permit me to talk about the Sakawa people, because people say that some of the Sakawa people, one of the things you don't do is you don't wash, you don't bath. So you don't need water.
Yeah.
So that's fine if you decide
but
to
you still have to drink
Sakawa.
water.
Well, but can you imagine going for maybe a week, unless you are in a war zone situation, a conflict situation, a real water scarce situation, that you go for days without bathing? Can you look at the weather? Can you go for one day?
No.
No, you can't. That is the seriousness of the issue we're talking about. So we believe that it's going to be gradual. But the point about it is that, you know, this awareness thing that we're doing depends on money. It's not free. Airtime is not free.
Yeah.
Then when even you have to go to communities to educate communities, it's not free. You need transport. The transport has to be fueled. You're going to interact with people. At a point, the people must be fed. It's all money. But you realize that at each celebration, the issue of money is another matter altogether.
So let me ask, who is behind this celebration? I mean, is it a ministry or this is an NGO?
No, it's not a ministry.
So this is not government related?
It's government related.
Okay.
But it's not the ministry. You see, what happens is the committee, for instance, members are pulled from different organizations. Okay. I am there as a media person representing the media because that is my background. I didn't tell you before.
Yeah, I know from your name.
Okay. So we have somebody from the ministry. We have somebody, Stanley is on the committee. We have others from some of the NGOs and other water-related institutions. Now, what happens is that at the beginning of each year, we members of the committee have to do fundraising.
Okay.
So, depending on those who are willing to fund us, we get people, organizations and institutions contributing. And I must commend the UN agency, UNICEF. UNICEF does well. I mean, every year they have been able to contribute substantially, and we expected that each institution, but it's not always, we don't always get, and I won't want to delve into it. Let's just
Yeah. Okay,
Let's
but do
just
you have
end it
enough
here.
for this year's celebration, though?
I don't think we have enough.
But
We
what's
don't
the
have.
dates? When are you starting?
It's already
okay,
on.
you've given us the dates
Yeah,
already.
it's already
you have
on.
a talk on Monday.
Yes, it's already on. So we have a series of activities. Like 2 years ago, for instance, the theme was on water and what was it? I've forgotten slightly. But then we're also looking at the relationship between water and forestry.
Okay.
So we team up with the Forestry Commission, and then we had an aspect where we did a tree planting competition for schools. And then we had a number of schools participating in it. And we thought that last year, if all had gone well, the schools that participated and those that did well should have been awarded. But we couldn't do that last year. So we are doing that this year. So this year, we're going around those schools. We had a number of schools, and they are doing very well. And I am happy with that activity we did, because when I worked in the Conservation International Ghana some time ago, it's no longer in Ghana, we did a similar thing. And I'm proud to say, anytime I pass by this Kanda cluster of schools, there was only one tree there in those days. And we did that. We introduced that. And now they have a number of trees there. And it's really good for the children because they have shade and everything there. So that's one of the activities we did.
So from the other things that you've done in the past, are you seeing the results? So in other words, what I'm asking is what you're doing working?
It's kind of subtle. You don't see it the way you would want to see it, because one, it's like we are unable, again, because of lack of funds, and because this is not like a committee that works throughout the year.
Okay.
When the day is drawing closer,
then you get together.
And then we get funds, and then we do a few activities. But you see, communication, if you want to really assess the impact of communication, then the particular communication activity you're doing should be carried, at least sustained for over a period, at least 6 months, consistently. Then you will get people, you know, thinking about the message. But if we do one off time kind of thing, you do one day, if it's not even one day, a couple of hours, and you won't get everybody listening in at the same time.
Sure.
No, so what happens is, well, somebody might hear, somebody might not hear, but then other things also come in. You know, there's competition for attention in our brains. Now you're thinking of how you're going to go home. You're thinking of whether you have water in the house or not. You're thinking of
whether you have lights or not.
Lights, thank you. This morning I was wondering what I was going to wear. Fortunately, I had ironed this one some days back, so I got something to wear. Else, my dear, you wouldn't have liked me when I stepped here. You know, so you have a whole lot of things thinking about. But that is what, as a country, I think we are not doing so well about. This is a public. It's in the public interest. This is supported by government. So I am expecting that, yes, government or public institutions should be able, yes, will come on board.
Maybe next year you can give yourself a longer period, you know, in putting this together. Maybe sacrifice a little more time, seeing as this is really important. And then we can get something going for a longer time.
For a longer time.
Yeah.
Yes, because if it goes for a longer time, then that one, people become more conscious of what is happening. Because, for instance, let's go back to this issue of Galamsey. If community members know, it's not that they don't know, they do know. But if community members are well educated, then they will understand that we have to choose what will benefit us at the end of the day. Is it the money, the cash that is being put in your hands that you want, or it is that at every point in time, over a long period, you will always have water. You will always have your farm doing well for you. Your children can go to school. Your mother, if she is sick, you can take her to the hospital. Or you just want your land to go, and then you have money for a few days, and that is it. I had the opportunity to do an interview with this man around the Kade area, around the foothills of the Atiwa forest range.
So we're talking Eastern region here.
Eastern region. And I went to this man. This man is sitting there. His land, you know, has been chopped off, and it's now all you can see is water. It's now become more or less like a lake. And I asked how this. He said, oh, that used to be his farm. What happened? Oh, some Galamsey people came here and they said there's gold here, and so they wanted to exploit for the gold. So I sold the land to them. How much did they pay you? Oh, they gave me 20 million. You know, and you know the former currency, when you are mentioning it looks so
but
big.
That's 2,000 Ghana cedis.
Thank you. 20 million. 20 million, and they excavated your land, and they are gone. So I said, okay, so the 20 million, what did you use it for? Oh, you see these blocks here? I have bought blocks. I'm building my house. I have bought lumber. This. I also paid for the my children's school fees. I said, how many terms did you pay for your children's school fee? He paid for 1 term. I said, okay, that's fine. So now what is happening? Now the money is finished because, like you said, this is 2,000 Ghana cedis.
Yes.
And I know how far 2,000 Ghana cedis will go. And so the man is stuck. His house is incomplete. His children still must go to school. His land is gone, and it used to be a cocoa farm. His land is gone. So he doesn't have any, the land is not, it's not even that, you know, you can sort of rehabilitate the land and then replant. No, there is no land there, it's water. Because they dug, and because these Chinese came in with excavators, they go hide their excavators, they excavate, and they leave huge holes there, and they go. You can't find them anywhere. So this man's livelihood is gone, completely gone.
All because of 2,000
Ghana
million.
cedis. 20 million.
Yeah.
It sounds so attractive.
All right, so we have to wrap up, but who can be there on Monday at the trade fair?
Every one of you here. Every one of you here should be there, because it matters, because we're talking about sustainable development. We're talking about how you are not just living for yourself today, but how when your daughter or your son grows up, he can still have access to water. He can still be able to go to school. He can still do the things that should be done. We can still have our industries running. We can still have our lives intact. When that thing is missing, water is missing, your life is not intact. Your life is incomplete. So every one of you is welcome, and I hope that every one of you will be there. All right,
we'll do our best to be there. Amakodo Majima is planning committee member of World Water Day celebration. She's urging all of us to be part of it. Make sure you're part of the symposium. We're still talking water. One more thing just before we wrap up. It's a walk, so stay with us.